Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this Planning Commission. The date is March 25th, 2013. Will everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. First item on the agenda is the actual approval of tonight's agenda. Does anybody have any changes or anything that they'd like to make? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move for approval.
Second. Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good. Moving on. The next one is for approval for the minutes of the February 25th, 2013 meeting. Does anybody have any changes that they'd like to make? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the minutes. Second.
A motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll be abstaining.
I abstain.
Julie, did you get all those? Okay. Very good. The next one is for a public hearing tonight. The variance is 2013-01. The location of the project is 6391 Duck Lake Road, and the request is for a variance from City Code, Chapter 11, Section 11.11, Subtune Section 11.02, to permit Becky's Place, a state-licensed residential program serving the elderly, located at 6391 Duck Lake Road in an R1 district, to house and serve a group of up to 8 elderly persons, some or all of whom are not related by blood, marriage, or adoption, who will be living together and maintaining a common household. And for city record, the City Code Section 11.11, Subcategory 2, allows single-family dwellings as a permitted use. City Code Section 11.02 defines as a family as one or more persons related by blood, marriage, or adoption, including foster children, or a group of not more than 5 persons, excluding servants, some or all of whom are not related by blood, marriage, or adoption, living together and maintaining a common household, but not including sororities, fraternities, or other similar organizations. That's a mouthful. So with that being said, will the proponent of the project please come forward and tell us a little bit about your project, please?
Yes, I'm Becky Dorr, the
Can
owner
you
of
spell your last name for us, please?
DORR.
And the location? Where do you live?
6391 Duck Lake Road in Eden Prairie.
Okay, thank you.
I've been operating Becky's Place for 20 years as a residential care facility. It started out as an adult foster home, and through the licensing process, we've had to change a license a few times. The last year, we had to change our license to a Class F nursing facility, and I've served private pay and low-income elderly people in Eden Prairie for the last 17 years in the home that I built and designed for doing it. It's a 9-bedroom home. For the bulk of the years that I owned the home, either my husband and I lived in the 3-bedroom apartment in the lower level, or my aunt did, caring for the ladies. And it's just 5 elderly ladies that we have on the main floor, but we have 3 additional rooms on the lower level. So I'd like to expand our license to include those 3 rooms to care for 3 additional people on either elderly waiver or private pay.
And your license right now is up to how many?
Right now we can have 6 unrelated people in the home.
So you want to go up to 8?
We want to add 2 additional people because it really doesn't pay for us to, well, right now we could have the 6th person downstairs all by themselves.
Got it.
But as it doesn't pay to modify the lower level for that 1 person, it would make sense to do it for an additional, since we have the 3 bedrooms downstairs, it just makes sense to do it for 3.
Understood. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go to city staff. If we have any questions, we'll let you know.
Sounds great.
Thanks again. Mr. Franz, you want to take us through the staff report, please?
Mr. Chairman, this type of use is needed in the city. It's of a scale that I believe fits in well with an R1 13.5 neighborhood. The staff report talks about the 3-part test for reasonable use, unique circumstances, and neighborhood character in an R analysis. It meets that test, and the staff recommendation is for approval. And if the commission does approve this, I'll need a signature from the chairman after the public hearing is closed.
Absolutely. Quick question for Mr. Franzen. Are there any other facilities in Eden Prairie that are like this at all?
The last one we brought before the Planning Commission was Aging Joyfully. It's off of Pioneer Trail just to the east of the Super America Station. And I think that's a 9-unit facility.
Okay. So other than that, to the best of your ability, those are the only two
There
that you're aware
probably
of?
are. It's just that if they're licensed according to the state and they're conforming to our code,
Necessarily
we
not.
wouldn't see it. It would simply
Got it.
go to the building department for building permits and fire code permits.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Franzen. Seeing that this is a public hearing, is there anybody out in the audience that has any comments or concerns about this specific project? If not, I'm not seeing any. Commissioners, do you have any comments or concerns about the project? Yes, sir. Go ahead, Jake. Can you speak into your microphone, Jake, please? Thank you, sir.
Notice was provided to the neighbors. Did you receive any comments back? Or?
Only just a clarification about the use and the number of people that would reside here. Otherwise, no one made any comments that they didn't feel this was appropriate. They've been a good neighbor for years. We haven't had any complaints about the way the facility has been run or the impact on the neighborhood. And they talked with their neighbors, and they didn't have any particular issues with this use.
Okay. I guess I'm just wondering if there's any potential for the use to change in a way. I don't know how your licensing works, but right now it's for elderly. Could it change to a different group home setting for youth or something like that that would maybe cause issues for neighbors?
They can. We did write the final order for this particular business, and that's fairly typical with a lot of variances that are granted. So if they did change to another type of facility that was similar, you'd still come back through this process. But if they had the 8 bedrooms and they have their license from the state, it shouldn't be a problem. If something did change where someone wanted to add more or change the type of use of the property, not only would we look at it for how it would fit with the neighborhood, but then you have to look at the structure itself to see whether or not they could actually meet the building and fire code requirements.
Okay, but there's no part of the variance that has to do with that it's for elderly. Is that,
It's for this business, and if their business is for 8 elderly, the final order applies to 8 elderly living on the premises.
okay.
Did that
Do you understand my concern a little bit? I mean, it's not a large concern. I'm just, if the usage changed and all of a sudden it's a group home for teens that have, I don't know,
trouble?
all sorts of, are in trouble or what have you. All of a sudden, if I was a neighbor right next door, I maybe would have some issues.
You're kind of saying, without it being discussed a second time, is there, with what we might grant here, the flexibility to go to a different demographic than the older?
They could actually go to a different business consistent with the statute, and if they only had 5 people there, then it's simply a licensing requirement with the state and building and fire code requirements. So the only time someone would come back is if they had either a similar type of business with 8 or a different type of business with more than 5 that we allow by ordinance.
So I understand where you're coming from, Jake. So, Mr. Franzen, just to try to clarify a little bit, if they wanted to change and not house the elderly, but house troubled teens 18 to 22, and there was 8 youth that were involved with that, they could do this under this variance, but they would need to change their licensing through the state.
They would have to change not only the license for the state, but they have to come back and reapply for a variance, because the variance only goes to this business for this use.
So I think
So you do have the opportunity for public input if they have any business that has more than 5 unrelated people.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the language now. I guess
lawyers coming out in.
Well, no, but it does seem a little different than other normal variances that we see that kind of travel with the property owner. If you get a variance for a deck and then you sell your house 4 years later, that new homeowner has the variance too.
Right.
Do you know? It feels a little different.
To go right to the nub of what I think you're asking, just to clarify for all of us, there's not the flexibility to go to a different demographic without coming back to the Planning Commission to discuss that.
That's correct. Use variances typically come back before a Planning Commission City Council. Setback variances for decks, building additions, etc., they run with the property. A lot size variance, lot dimensions run with the property. Building height variances run with the property.
Okay. Jake, were you reading that over for a second? Do you have more, or are you okay?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Okay.
Okay. Commissioners, are there any other questions or concerns? Okay. Jake, you feel comfortable moving forward? Is your reading very fast?
Yeah, no, I see it in there. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. Very good. If no one else has any comments or concerns, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, move to recommend approval of the final order 2013-01.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. You can move forward with your project. Thank you very much. So with that being said, that closes our public hearing for tonight. Planners report, Mr. Franzen.
Our first meeting in April will be canceled. We don't have any public hearings. We will have a couple of public hearings in the end of April. We're going to have a variance from one of the, it's a combination variance applied for by the school district and one of the associations to redo the scoreboard over at the high school. They want a taller and bigger one than they have. And then we have a shoreline setback for a pool on Mitchell Lake.
Okay. Very good. Anything else you have down here? Commission appointments for 2013. Any surprises?
Quite frankly, I didn't know that was on.
Just one question for Mike.
Yes, we do have 2 new appointments.
Mike, I've seen now 2 rounds of the architectural drawings for a small senior housing development at Franlow and Prairie Center Drive. I think they've been working with you. The latest proposal downsized it from a proposed 115 units to 53, if I remember correctly, right on the corner of Franlow and Prairie Center Drive. And I didn't know if that's something that you're regularly working on, or if they're just proposed.
Actually, no. I only saw it once and suggested that the project go back before the neighborhood to show them a change in the project, and that the corner lot where MedCom would eventually go through is not part of the project.
Right.
There's still the potential for that to happen. I've not seen an application, nor do I know when that group is going to bring something forward just for the corner piece.
Yeah, they did have a second meeting with the residents in that neighborhood, and with a smaller project got pretty favorable reviews. So, okay, thank you.
So it sounds like there's 2 people leaving us tonight. This will be the last meeting. Did I hear that correctly? And who are the who are those people?
Are there 2 leaving?
Yep, I'm one.
Jerry?
I'm second.
All right.
Oh.
Well, we appreciate your willingness to serve. It's nice to have all of us together for once, too.
Yeah, it is.
But you guys have been great. Thank you very much for your service. And we'll miss you.
A pleasure. It really has.
We'll miss you
I
guys.
enjoyed it.
Thanks again.
Not to pile on, this is actually going to be my last meeting as well. I'm closing on a new home outside of the city next week, so they told me I can't be on here anymore. So
All
it's
right.
been a good but relatively short ride, but you know,
Right. Well, thank
I
you.
think the
again,
city's
Matt.
in good hands.
I'd call that 3 big losses.
I know. That's true. Well, Matt, you'll be missed. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, with that being said, is there anything else for planners report, Mr. Franzen? Or members reports for that matter?
Actually, our 2 new appointees are Ann Higgins and Mary Egan.
Ann Higgins and Mary.
Ann Higgins was the chair of the Heritage Preservation Commission for
Okay.
several years.
Okay.
Mary Egan lives in Bear Path, and she's currently on their Architectural Review Committee.
Great. Well, that'll be great. We look forward to having them. Okay. Any members reports? Matt, I guess you've got the light rail. Is that yours?
It is actually, with me leaving, I'll also be giving up that position as well. So I don't know if there's anything in the works if people want to put in their name in the hat for that.
Okay.
Otherwise, as far as if you guys read the paper on Thursday, they're looking at some new different alignments throughout the city. That's essentially all the information I have as well. So I don't know if you want to go into any further detail. in terms
Actually,
of-
just to add, there's going to be a meeting at the city council. The workshop's going to be about light rail. And of course, we'll be inviting the members locally of the CAC and BAC and the commission members as well. So at that point, we'll have a pretty good idea about the several different types of alignment. And so we'll have a few hours to be able to hear the presentations by the project office, and then we'll have that open up for questions and answers and direction if there is a preference for any one or more or several alignments as it goes through the city.
And when is that meeting scheduled?
May 7th,
May 7th. Okay.
first Tuesday in May.
You'll send an invite to us all?
I will.
All right.
Colored paper.
Very good. Okay. Anything else from members' reports? Continuing business? Any new business? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. Thank you.